Hi, this is Nancy and welcome to Raising Children and Money. Our aim is to help you educate your child about the value of money at any age. Our videos will cover useful topics for parents of children aged 2 through 20. Our book, Raising Financially Independent Children, sold on Amazon, goes into more depth on the topics we are covering. Allowance should be a joyful project where your child is feeling like a participant and increasingly capable of making stuff happen. Most parents are overly indulgent, and the idea of not rescuing them is an important one to learn. But other parents are very strict, and they need to understand that once allowance starts, this is not the end of parents giving their children occasional gifts of toys or money, or that money can only be earned based on strict chores, and that children may spend money on something the parents consider frivolous, and that is okay and part of learning to make choices. I know this is a fine line, but each parent has had a unique upbringing and different beliefs about money, and should do the best not to pass on limiting or negative beliefs about money to your children when you are teaching them basic skills. The first step in determining how much allowance to give your child is to determine what you expect them to spend their allowance on. Basically, you will be moving some expenses you pay for now to them and giving them limited control over this spending. When you first start out, you want to keep it simple and pick no more than one or two types of expenses, and then each year at a set time, birthday, beginning of the school year, increase the items that the child has to spend and is responsible for the allowance. Remember, each child is unique, and some will grasp things sooner than others. Let's start with a 5 to 7-year-old child. Each week you make two purchases, a snack at the grocery store and an ice cream cone after school on Fridays, plus a monthly toy of about $12. Given that you are spending $9 each week, on average, you need to decide if you want to give them the exact amount, $9, or a little more, and encourage the child to save for something special. Allowance requires a little trial and error, and over time you will start to see what works best for you and your child. Our one reminder is not to rescue your child if there is not enough allowance money left to do what they want. Missing a snack or a toy is a good lesson to teach a child about saving for what they want. The vast majority of children will make mistakes. Let them make them early in life when the consequences are minor. As your child gets older, the list of what you expect the child to pay for grows, and so does the allowance. But remember, you are just transferring when you are paying for it because you are already spending the money. For example, the $56 you see here on the things for your child. The goal is at some point to be able to give your child the money at the beginning of the month. But at the start, you may want more control and give it to them weekly. You need to find a good tracking method for the money and also a way for the child to save a portion for large purchases. You can decide to give your child a little more each month, expecting them to save it towards a larger purchase, or you may expect your child to find a way to save for these purchases by reducing the spending on other items. Again, we keep saying don't rescue them if they don't have enough money to do something like going with friends to a movie, because that undoes the principles of budgeting, saving, and delayed gratification you are trying to teach them with allowance. Remember, these are just examples of what items the child pays for and how much you have been spending on them. Every family's circumstances are different, and everyone's budget is different. How your child gets their allowance is a personal choice. Many families believe children have chores because they are part of a family and allowance is not related to these chores. Other families believe that making the child work for allowance teaches them how hard it is to earn money for what they want. What you decide is based on your beliefs, family situation, and your child. There are many different ways families go about having their children earn the allowance if you decide that allowance should be earned. Again, there are many choices on how to earn allowance. Some families decide on a set of chores to earn the allowance. Some families assign a set of chores that you must do for your allowance. Others have a chore list with values, and your child signs up for the chores they agree to do each week or month. Some families believe school equates to work and they pay for grades. Many families use a combination of all of the above. You can even decide to give your child some allowance to cover expenses and have additional chores lists or use grades as a way to earn extra money. To recap from a previous video, you must help your child track their allowance. Some children like to see their money in clear plastic jars. Once the child is about 7, it's time to use a bank account. Open an account for your child's allowance in the same bank you bank at so you can transfer money easily. If your schedule allows, take the child to the bank to deposit the allowance money. Otherwise, show them when you're transferring the money into their account, and always the same when you're taking cash out to buy something. It is a good idea to keep a chart for your child on his allowance. This lets them see where their money is going and how it is growing. An example of a chart is Bob's allowance balance. As your child gets older, you can make them responsible for updating the chart and making it a teaching moment out of showing them how to use a spreadsheet. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this short video. Stay tuned for an upcoming video on more subjects, and to gain more information, you can always check out our book, Raising Financially Independent Children, on Amazon. Please subscribe to our channel so that you can get updates, and feel free to email us comments or suggestions for future topics at parentsfin@gmail.com.